Well, thank you for remembering.
No problem.
Anyway, you guys, we absolutely love this show. I'll tell you quickly just my background with Ouran. About 3 years ago, maybe even more, let's just say 3 though, it was a while. Caitlin came to me, we were working on something and she said, you have to see this show. Just a few episodes of this show. It's called Ouran High School Host Club. And I'm like, really? Is it about a high school, a host club? What is it? And she said, just let me give you a disc and it's got 3 or 4 episodes on it. You need to watch it because I'm in love with it. Now, you guys, I need to remind you, this is before it was licensed. Like, there was no reason to believe that we would, why all of a sudden the feedback? That's interesting, isn't it? There was no reason to believe that we would ever get to do it,
right.
You know? And so she gave me this disc. And I started watching it. I was like, I love this show. It was so funny, and it was so, I don't know. And I immediately fell in love with the big doofus, Tamaki, exactly. And I just loved him. And I made the cardinal sin. I committed the cardinal sin of an actor, and that is I fell in love with a role before I got cast in that role. Because you kind of jinx yourself, you know what I mean? You get your hopes set on one character, you can pretty much bet you're not going to get that one. And so, I fell in love with this, but then it kind of went away. And Caitlin, whenever Caitlin and I would see each other, we would kind of talk about it briefly. And whether somebody was going to license it, what studio would license it. Because like if it was licensed and went to Canada, none of us would work on it. Canadians do their stuff and we don't get to work on anything up there. If it went to LA, well, I was living in Houston, Dallas, so the chances would be no there. Well, then one day, it was announced that Funimation had gotten the title. So Caitlin and I did a little jig, you know? and then I'm like, Caitlin, you need to start campaigning. I mean, like, take a page out of Obama's playbook. Because you need to start campaigning hard for this director to direct this show, because she wanted to direct it. So then she got chosen to direct the show. And things just kept falling into place. Now I know what you're probably thinking. You're probably thinking, oh well, Caitlin gets to direct the show. Obviously, you're going to get to play this role. Not so fast. If you think about it, Caitlin is a very ethical, upstanding girl. She would never in a million years want people to go, oh, she just cast her friends because they're her friends, and they suck at the role, but she just gave it to them anyway because they're friends. She would never want anybody to say that. She loved this show way too much to let something like that happen. So she called me one day. She's like, I just want you to know I'm going to hold auditions, and you know, I'm going to do what's best for the show, Vic. And I was like, because she had told me 2 years ago, you are Tamaki.
Gimme.
She told me that. I mean, she looked me right and said, you are Tamaki Suo. I'm like, really? Of course, that was way before the show was even within our grasp. So she held auditions, and I'll never forget, I went in, and I went in just like everybody else, and I had my little book of asides and all the different characters in there. And I walk in and she goes, okay, I think I can guess who you want to read for. And so I read for Tamaki, and then she said, as soon as I finished, she goes, do you want to read for anyone else? I was like,
PA?
This is not a good sign. And so I read for like one of the twins, and I read for Kyoya, and then I left, and then went the waiting game, you know? And so I was actually at KawaiiCon 2 years ago when Caitlin called and said that I was going to get to play this role. So I want to thank God and Caitlin in that order. And because I mean, from the moment we started, I just wanted to savor every line. Like I would do a line and we would go on and I'd be like, oh, can I do it again? And Caitlin would be like, it's fine, just the one you did was fine. I'm like, I know, but I don't want it to be over. Can we do it again? I love this show. And it's been a privilege to be a part of it, and the whole cast is just great. You know who needs to be here, the little punk? Todd Habercorn, one of the twins. Where is he? Yeah, where is he? There are no shady twins! Doppelgangers? What? Oh, his own
He's
panel.
running it, or it's his panel?
What is the panel?
voice acting.
What?
All right, let's take some questions. How about that? Let's